Have you ever wondered if the stories you hear about exorcism is real? We've all seen it in movies, priests casting out demons, bodies twisting in impossible ways. But what if I told you? In some places, it isn't just a story. In small towns, hidden away from the rest of the world, there are people possessed. And tonight, I'm going to share those stories with you. And you might question what you believe and what you fear. In the end of the video, you will find out if this story was true or for your entertainment. This happened in 1997 in a quiet village, surrounded by a thick, endless forest. A teenage girl named Amara lived there with her parents. She was bright, cheerful, until one night, something changed. She stopped eating, she stopped speaking. When she finally did speak, it wasn't her voice. It was deep, almost growling, like something was speaking through her. Her parents thought it was an illness, until they saw her standing in the corner of her room, facing the wall, whispering in a language no one had heard before. And when her mother touched her shoulder, Amara turned and her eyes were completely black. Her family called the local priest, Father Elias. The moment he stepped into the house, the candles flickered, and the temperature dropped so sharply that his breath became visible in the air. He began reading the prayers. Amara didn't flinch. She stared at him with a smile that didn't belong to her. Then, without warning, her body arched backward, bones cracking, until her head almost touched her feet. She began to laugh, but it wasn't laughter. It was something darker, layered with multiple voices. Father Elias sprinkled holy water, but she screamed in agony. The sound so loud that the windows rattled. And then she started naming people who had died in the village decades ago. Details only the dead could have known. The priest continued, his voice shaking, his hands trembling. Suddenly, Amara's head turned sharply toward him, and in a low, male voice, she said, "Elias, I know what you've done." He froze. The room smelled of burning hair. A shadow moved across the wall, but there was no one there. The lights went out, and for a second, the only sound was her breathing. Slow, heavy, inhuman. And then, silence. When the lights came back on, Amara was lying on the floor. Her eyes were normal again. She looked exhausted, confused, as if she didn't remember anything. The priest left without saying a word, and no one in the village ever spoke about that night again. Exorcism is real. People have witnessed things they can't explain, things that go far beyond science and reason. And the story I just told you was not one of them. Everything I told you tonight was fiction. But here's the thing. Every detail, every moment, and every word was based on true cases. So if you think this was scary, then remember, the real stories are far worse. Sleep well if you can. See you in the next video.